What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hopefully you had a wonderful start to your weekend. We have a bunch of very important things that we need to discuss today, so let's jump right into it. First, we're going to go over why there is actually proof behind why the $1,400 stimulus checks were not enough. And this is one of the reasons why lawmakers and economists are both saying we need an additional stimulus check. So yes, a fourth stimulus check is currently being discussed. It is not something that is already in the Build Back Better plan, but it does look like there's a high likelihood it will be included. We also are going to discuss the issues revolving around the child tax credits, and this has to do a little bit with the $1,400 stimulus checks, and it also has to do with the additional possibly fourth stimulus check that could come in the future. I want to touch a little bit on one state that is actually putting together a vaccine certification app that actually came out yesterday, and I want to address that because there are some that are saying that this will be required to attend any large-scale event. And finally, I want to discuss a new proposal amongst being pushed by progressives right now that will most likely be included into the Build Back Better plan and would actually help out millions and millions of Americans. So here's where we're at. Why do so many economists and lawmakers, why do they say an additional stimulus check is needed? I know there's right now, we are still waiting on many people to get the $1,400 stimulus check. There are some waiting on the $600 check, and there are still some that are waiting on the $1,200 stimulus check that was sent out last April, almost a year ago. So here's what we know. According to many economists, they are saying that this was not enough. The $1,200, $600, and $1,400 combined just barely scratched the surface of what Americans need. They say those $3,200 payments only amount to around $8.75 per day in income over the past year. But here's what I want you to understand. This is what The Economist in this article doesn't actually outline. That $1,200, that was for adults. That was not for children. Children received $500 in the first round. The $600, every single person received $600. Okay? And in the $1,400 round, every single person received $1,400. So technically, children have only received $2,500 and adults have received $3,200. However, if you're an adult dependent, you only received $1,400. That is a big issue. So lawmakers are saying that with all the delays that we're currently seeing, we will need to get more stimulus checks out to the American people, or we will never get back to normal. At least it would take many years. So yes, there are still $1,400 stimulus checks going out. According to the IRS, we know about 30 million checks have yet to be deposited. Most of these are coming from or for senior citizens that completely got screwed because of the SSA and the IRS not really working in conjunction with one another. So we are getting some updates on this, and yes, the checks are most likely going to be hitting your bank accounts this Wednesday. If they don't show up this Wednesday, they could potentially be here by April 7th. However, some say you could see your stimulus check through a paper check or a prepaid debit card, which would most likely add on possibly 1 to 2 weeks of an additional delay. So economists do say that because of this delay, because of the delay in rental assistance, because we know right now many people are not getting the rental assistance that they require simply because the state is too restrictive and landlords are not accepting it. We also know there's delays in unemployment benefits. This is not just the $300 per week, but also the state benefit, the one that you would actually get in addition to that $300 per week coming from the federal government. There's many states that are behind there as well, and most likely the delay in the child tax credit, which is supposed to come in July. So economists say more has to be done in order to get out of this crisis that we are currently in. Now, there's a group of 10 senators, all Democrats, that wrote to President Biden a few weeks ago saying that they are demanding he includes $2,000 per month as stimulus checks to the American people. They didn't go into extreme detail as to who should qualify, whether it's based on income, if everybody that received the $1,400 stimulus check should get the $2,000 stimulus check. But right now, what I can tell you is that this is just one group. This is just in the Senate. in the House, we have a group of progressives that are pushing for an additional stimulus payment as well, and they want monthly stimulus checks also. What I can tell you is what we are hearing is many people on Social Security will not get a child tax credit. So what are economists saying there? They're saying we need to fix this issue because senior citizens, people on Social Security, only got a 1.3% cost of living adjustment, or COLA, for 2021. So they're going to get a $1,400 stimulus check that is currently being delayed. Well, they're already getting a cost of living adjustment of 1.3% on top of their Social Security benefits that they got every month. That started in 2021. We're actually in January, so just a few months ago. But what we are hearing is that large families where providers make minimum wage or very close to it have been disproportionately affected by all this stimulus. So here's what I can tell you. As of right now, the child tax credit, according to many economists, was the one piece of legislation that provided the biggest boost to the economy. Simply because, it pulled children out of poverty, or it will, but the issue is it hasn't even been implemented yet. We aren't even seeing these payments. We might not even see these in July. These might come out in August or September, or according to the IRS, according to a few reports, we might not see this come out as a monthly payment. It might come out quarterly, or in the worst case scenario, you will have to file your taxes in 2022 for the 2021 tax year, and then you will get the child tax credit then. Well, what we know is, according to the IRS, this is a challenge. They find this deadline challenging, and they cannot commit to the July 1st deadline. However, that is something they will strive for. What I can tell you is that all across the internet, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere on social media, you hear people talking about how they cannot wait for this child tax credit to hit their bank accounts. The issue is we are still months away. Right now, many families are looking forward to the $300 per month or even the $250 per month that they would get for each child. And with either one of these options, whether you get $300 per month or you get $250 per month, what many economists are saying is that a parent would receive just about double the $1,400 stimulus check. And this is why many economists believe that with the child tax credit in limbo and benefits, and that only benefits those that have children. Obviously, if you are elderly and you don't have children that live with you and aren't under the age of 18, or 17 or under, you're not going to get a child tax credit. Younger adults that haven't had children yet, they are not going to get a child tax credit. So they say, according to economists, that most stimulus checks are a must at this time, and that there is no reason why we shouldn't be including and talking about a fourth stimulus check. And something else that you may not know about, which has nothing to do with stimulus checks, it actually has something to do with the vaccine. Well, New York State has created an app that allows venues and allows anybody that goes and gets this app, it allows them to check and see if a customer has been vaccinated for COVID and when they were last tested for COVID as well. So here's what we know. This app is called the Excelsior Pass, and it actually began yesterday in New York. This is something that many states are actually working towards. They want to see where they can go and implement this, app nationwide, and anybody can use it. It will pull data from the state's, vaccination records, and so it will know if you've been vaccinated or not. The company that let's say you go into a restaurant, or in this case, this is something that is actually going to be looked into for Madison Square Garden. So if you want to go to a basketball game, maybe a hockey game, whatever, maybe a concert of some kind, there you go. But even though this is just being worked on currently in New York State, doesn't mean this isn't going to be implemented nationwide. What we are hearing is that some experts believe that the United States will require something to the extent of you have to have maybe something like this Excelsior Pass if you want to travel on a plane through sea or even by railway. So that is something that experts are currently saying. Now, I know a lot of people that, as soon as they saw this, they're like, that's just complete crap. We can't do that. That completely, goes against, everybody's rights and beliefs if you require them to go and get a vaccine. And I completely understand. But here's the issue. Some people I know personally said they would never get the vaccine unless they're required to. Now that this has actually come out, and in light of this, just the other day, some are saying that yes, they are going to get the vaccine now. So let me know down in the comment section below. You don't have to tell me if you got the vaccine or not, but do you think it's right that there are some companies, even if the United States doesn't actually implement this, some airlines could. And I don't know which airlines might, but we could see an airline say, if you don't have this pass to prove that you've been vaccinated, you cannot get on our flight. And we can see this go not just here in the United States, but if we see any international flights, we can see this exact same thing. So let me know down in the comment section below. Will you get the vaccine if they require that you have to show proof or you will not be able to travel? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'd be very interested to know exactly how you guys feel. Now, I get it. Some people are going to say this is in violation of their rights and beliefs, and I understand. But this is also kind of where we're looking at. This is kind of where things are going. So just be prepared that this could be something that not only we see in New York State, but possibly in other states and possibly mandated around the country as well. Now, another big proposal being pushed by progressives that actually has some bipartisan support to it. And when I saw this, I thought, finally they're doing something to fix this crisis. Well, this bill is called the Emergency Water is a Human Right Act. This is being pushed by progressives. Well, here's what we know. This proposal ensures that all communities have access to safe drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. This also would prevent companies from water shutoffs. And this is a big deal right now. Right now, there's a massive crisis going on across the United States. Within weeks, many states are actually going to run through their utility shutoff moratorium, which means millions of Americans could be without water, power, gas, and other utilities. What I can tell you is companies can shut off water, gas, power very soon. Many states are worried that this is going to happen, and they want the CDC or President Biden to jump in and stop this. Well, what we do know is that states can actually implement their own laws to do this themselves. California currently has a law where you cannot shut off somebody's water, you can't shut off their power, you cannot shut off their gas, even though it will be due to non-payment. And this proposal that really isn't being talked about by many, this is what some are saying should be included in the Build Back Better plan. This is exactly what progressives are asking for President Biden to include this proposal into his Build Back Better plan, because this would solve many issues. Experts do believe that this has an easy chance of being included, as it does solve a major problem within the United States now and even before the pandemic began. Now, what I can tell you, and this is a staggering number, but before this pandemic, years before, back in 2016, roughly 15 million water shutoffs occurred throughout the United States due to non-payment. This means that roughly 1 out of every 20 households lost water at some point. If you think you can lose water and still survive, it's very difficult. Yes, you can go to the store and buy drinking water, but how do you flush a toilet? How do you wash your hands, especially during a pandemic, where we are told constantly wash our hands? How do we take a shower? Just basic hygiene. How do we brush our teeth? All these things, washing the dishes, things like that. All these things, water is an essential right, according to many people. Now, a lot of proposals are going to be thrown into the mix for the Build Back Better plan, but we don't know the main framework of this plan just yet. President Biden is supposed to hold a press conference in Pittsburgh, and in Pittsburgh, he is going to unveil his Build Back Better plan. This is supposed to happen this coming Wednesday, so we should know more then. What I can tell you is right now there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff regarding additional stimulus checks. There's a lot of stuff regarding what's going on with unemployment, Social Security. You got infrastructure, both social and actual infrastructure. Talking about school funding, schools reopening. President Biden and the Biden administration want to reach 200 million shots within the first 100 days. So that is double what he originally planned. And there's a lot more going on as well. But as always, as I know more, I promise I will share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one.